So there's these fundamental pillars that if you have those in order, can you optimize with biochargers and rings and sleep mattresses and stuff? I'm sure, but I, in my experience, found that 80% of the work is just eat vegetables, eat high quality meats if that's what you're into, or whatever your propensity is. Take a food sensitivity test, and I think the fundamentals are what win championships. And I think in life and in business and in health, and if you get those core pillars in place, I think you can be very successful.
Alrighty, thanks for joining us on another awesome episode of Bioenergetic Beats. I'm Heather Gray, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner, and today is brought to you by Nikki, Unleash the Wellness Within. It's a non-invasive, easily affordable, and highly effective approach to optimize wellness. It's a wearable device that puts frequency better based life in your hands and on your wrist. Make sure to stick to the very end because we have a giveaway you're not going to want to miss out on. But you're not going to want to miss out on one thing my next guest has to say, because we're going to be diving deep into biohacking, resilience, like all the fun toys and tools and energetics and all, just all the stuff that we love talking about here on this show. So without further ado, let's welcome Ari Rastegar to the show. Yay!
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome sauce. So, Mister, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background. How'd you get into biohacking? Usually there's some sort of a pain to purpose story,
Yeah.
or just seeing a hole somewhere in the niche that you're looking to fill. So, which was it for you?
Sure. Definitely more the desperation kind of aspect. So I grew up in a household that was very health conscious, and I feel very fortunate to know that, my mother was a homeopathist. Both of my parents, they divorced when I was really young, but both were, vegetarian before being vegetarian was cool. Taking vitamins and things were very much a part, of our upbringing, and, being conscious of processed foods and things like that. So that was pretty cool. And then I guess later on, as I started to go through, college and law school, and start to get this I guess ambition to go out there and be an entrepreneur, I started just not to feel good. And one of my clients, who's one of my best friends in the world, is a spinal neurosurgeon, but basically took that big brain of his and decided to really think through what longevity would look like, and custom pharmaceutical grade vitamins. And literally, we were talking. He's like, "Look, I love your business strategy. I'll definitely invest with you, blah, blah, blah. But do you feel okay?" And I was like, "Well, why?" He's like, "Well, you have dark circles under your eyes." And like, I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, let me take a look at your blood and this, that, and the other." And he started to just demystify it for me, but more like fundamentally, like your testosterone is low, your cholesterol is high, and taking food sensitivity tests. And I, had, very bad anxiety growing up, and, had a bad speech impediment, and like I'm a nobody from nowhere. And basically I just didn't feel good. And I associated that with maybe labels of saying, "Oh, you have this, you have that, take this pill." And in him kind of showing me my blood work, he's like, "Well, I kind of think if you didn't eat sugar, and I think you're allergic to eating this junk," and then taking the vitamins and the minerals. And once all that started to calibrate, I started to feel better, I guess naturally, I know. And going down that kind of rabbit hole, I started to learn about, hyperbaric chambers. I started to learn about, biochargers, and doing stuff with Dave Asprey, who I think is a, mutual acquaintance of ours. Just started to kind of go down the rabbit hole really as a hobby, because I started to feel so much better. That it became something that became really a part of my life. And I started to go into meditation work, that I did some transcendental meditation work. Recently in 2025, I did 5 7-day meditation retreats with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And with Dr. Joe, starting to see the energetic field literally. And like I volunteered to be in some of the studies to like test my saliva, and what's going on with heart rate variability, and started to see the science of mysticism on top of the work of the stuff I'm doing with vitamins and minerals, and all that kind of different stuff. So it was it was quite the journey. And as the business started to grow and the toll on my body started to go up, I started to use this as an investment mechanism in myself, in my mind, in my heart, in my body. And then when I started to be able to measure it and see, wow, like I do feel more gratitude, and I can see it on the heart scan that before it looked all, had so much dissonance. When the coherence started to kick in, I started to see that benefit through the extension of the business, through, quite frankly, profitability and growth. And it became a part where I can invest in myself so I can then contribute more.
Absolutely. Gotta love the friend who's gonna call you out and go, dude, you look like
Yeah.
crap, like, because
Yeah.
seriously,
Thank God.
well, and the other part is you grew up healthy minded. You grew up in the household and with the practitioners, and you still had a disconnect between, what it's like to
Yes.
feel normal and healthy, So I love having these conversations too, because in functional medicine, we quite often say, no matter how common a symptom may be, it is never normal, right? It's always your body's check engine light coming on saying, yo, dummy, something's not going on in here. And, even you were, and I love this too, because like with entrepreneurs and big business people, like if they understood what it would add to their profit margin by taking care of themselves, right? Biohacking, getting their energy back in line, and how simple it can be. You just started with the minerals and the vitamins and this, getting that foundation laid down, and you're like, ah, I started feeling better.
Yeah, you really said it so well. And like I said, I'm a professional investor. I mean, we build and operate and invest in 38 cities, 13 states, 7 different asset classes across, in the real estate world. And I kind of, looked at all these different things and said, well, I'm spending all this time investing money, investing all these things. But if I feel and I don't like, and also making more heart-centered decisions. Like I found being in that stress state, like operating from a place of fear, this what could happen, and this frenetic energy started to become more coherent, literally. And then I could directly see that extension of how things started to become better, and things that I thought were emotional ailments for me turned out to be physiological ailments. And just simply cutting out sugar, and cutting out alcohol, and cutting out these other things, and finding more productive way, and nothing too fancy. Yes, it is a luxury, admittedly, to be able to have an age management doctor, and I feel very fortunate, that I'm able to do that and have custom vitamins and these checkups. But in reality, there's so many simple things. I go to Costco and I get a big thing of wild salmon, sweet potatoes, and avocado, and I meal prep, and my meal costs $1. And it's boring, and it's not that, and like so there's so many simple things that can be done that are entirely cost effective. Admittedly, maybe boring, but as an investor, boring is beautiful. This
Mm.
repetitive stuff that I can do over and over again. And like I said, I now look at it, the way Emerson's called health is wealth. And I know maybe it sounds corny to some people, but people that have healthy people, we're so blessed to have our limbs and have our brain. And so if you do have those things, you have the luxury of having dreams. But if you have a health problem, you have one dream, and that's to be better. And if I don't have me, I can't contribute. And so it was a very simple explanation of, so I move my body, I do my meditation practice, I take my vitamins, I stay away from all the stuff that I think everybody knows they shouldn't, be ingesting. I do love pizza, and I do love French fries, and I have 3 kids. And so I'm not a robot. And so I do get time to indulge in the things that I like. But as a general rule, if 70 to 80% of my time is focused around high quality nutrition, and that's for me, that's high quality fishes, chicken, veggies, you know high quality water, and that's really it. And I have all these little add-ons and these gadgets and gizmos, and they're more fun, and they're my hobby. But if you can't use those things, I don't think, to outwork a bad diet or bad mental inputs. So these fundamental pillars that if you have those in order, can you optimize with biochargers and rings and sleep mattresses and stuff? I'm sure, but I, in my experience, found that 80% of the work is just uh, eat vegetables, eat high quality meats if that's what you're into, or whatever your propensity is. Take a food sensitivity test. You might be allergic to lettuce and you don't even know it. And I certainly had some weird ones. And I think the fundamentals are what win championships. And I think in life and in business and in health, and if you get those core pillars in place, I think you can be very successful.
Man, you put that so eloquently, Ari. Thank you. And I'm so freaking jealous that you've gotten to see Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've only gotten to see him speak at a conference once, and we were very close. And he's talking to the crowd, and all of a sudden I catch eye contact with him, and he says something. I don't even remember what he said because he just like scrambled my brain, and I started to cry. And afterwards, everyone was like, "Oh my God, I saw you up there with him. What was it like?" I was like, like it was such a profound experience. And I love the fact that he's putting the science behind his work and you're seeing real results to this meditation and this lifestyle, like lowering cholesterol, lowering blood pressure,
Yes.
the function in the brain. Like I'm just so tickled to see what the future looks like. And the fact that Nikki too is right there on that edge with that as well. I recently started wearing the emotion code in our Nikki event because I've been under some high stress. I just started a job at a new holistic med spa in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and was getting a little stressed out. And I was like, okay, I need some help with the emotion. So I slapped that on, and everyone's like, "What have you been doing lately?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've been running that new code. Like I have been more calm, centered, zen, and there we can make decisions from a more heart-centered place, like you said, instead of a stressed out, you know, fear-based or poverty mindset. We can make real awesome, decisions this way. So thank you for bringing that in so much because that is a piece that so many people, even a lot of biohackers, miss because they're still focused on the physical, right?
Yeah, I absolutely. And the other realization for me is that for me, my emotions, like these elevated emotions, gratitude, abundance, love, these things, for me, I treat it like emotional fitness, not any different than, going to the gym and lifting weights to build your biceps, which is great, being on the treadmill, whatever you need to do to your physical body. You have to train your physical body. I've come to learn for me that training myself and priming myself into gratitude, as simple in the morning as take it a couple minutes, doing a meditation, and then finding something truly that I can be extremely grateful for. Preferably smaller the better, because I find that the smaller things that I find to be more grateful for enliven my day just for me. But the more that I practice being happy, like actually say, I'm going to go into the mirror, I'm going to be happy. I do this thing with Tony Robbins sometimes that you do this breathing thing and you jump around and be happy. Like just be happy. Like literally just be happy.
Fantastic. Well, this is a really great spot. We're going to take a quick break for a commercial. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back because I want to jump into some of his favorite tools for biohacking, for building energy, resilience, and longevity. And, definitely knows what he's talking about being an investment guy. Like, that's a very high stress job, right? And if he can find Zen with that job and 3 kids and life, like he's definitely qualified to talk on this subject. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Nikki Wellness Technology, delivering frequency enhanced health.
It looks like a little watch, but it's actually a frequency device. It's bioenergetic, so it has this little frequency light situation that goes into your arm.
This is my Nikki. It is a bioenergetic wearable that works by emitting a specific frequency carried by a red light, as you can see on the back. It's aimed at enhancing the body's natural healing process to improve wellness and reducing stress, pain, and inflammation. And to select a frequency, you tap it to wake it up, and then you slide to the screens that list the different frequencies. I have wellness or Lyme on mine. So if we want to pick one, we just tap on it, and you'll see the circles around, and there's a play button, play areas, tap there, and you can see the colors radiating that show that it's playing, and you would also see the red light on the back. And to stop, you just tap it again, and then you can slide and select a different frequency. I'm going to play afternoon. And you just tap, and away you go for your afternoon.
So they're two different things. You have the Nikki device, And then you have the frequency sets. And so right now they have the wellness set of frequencies, and they are absolutely incredible. So I absolutely love them.
Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency enhanced health. We are Nikki.com.
Fantastic. Welcome back. I'm excited to hear about some of your tools. I love toys. When I moved to Puerto Vallarta, it was hilarious. I only had 3 suitcases that I moved here with, practically no clothes because almost all of them included all my biohacking tools, my air filter, my water filter, my red light mask, a massage thingy, this thingy. Like, it's funny. And the people going through my stuff at the airport, they were kind of looking, a lot of them like, what are you into? And I'm just like, health and wellness.
That's awesome. Yeah, I probably would be like you if I made a move like that too. Forget the clothes. Who needs clothes? I need these. I need this stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about some of your favorite hacks and tools.
Sure. So let's focus on the ones that I think are super achievable because I think they get the most bang for the buck. And if you look at the basic fundamentals of the body, let's start with water. Water being the vast majority of life. So I've seen all these different fancy waters out there. And again, I've experimented with a bunch of them, admittedly, but I find one of the absolute highest impact things you can do with water is buy a water distiller. A water distiller, you can get one on Amazon for $100. Okay, so you got to spend a little bit of money, but I find that if you're distilling just tap water, the amount that you spend on bottled water that's filled with junk, you actually get your investment back. And one distiller, I've had the same one for 18 months and we've run thousands of gallons through it just out of the water. And when you distill water, and distilling water, just, I'm sure everybody knows, but basically it just boils water and it turns into vapor, and the vapor is cooled and it drips out. So that's all distilled water technically is it changes form. And when you open that up, when it's basically completely dry and you smell what tap water really is left over that we're bathing in and brushing our teeth in, is a freaking disaster. So if you get a distiller, and the water that comes out of it is fundamentally pretty clean, but it is empty of any minerals and things. You can get, a little electrolyte solution, find a high quality one you can get for $5 on Amazon again, put some electrolytes in water. And that one thing, squeeze a little fresh lemon, squeeze a little bit of fresh lime, get some Celtic salt, which also can substitute as your electrolytes. Again, it's $4 and you can make dozens of bottles of water. I find that one thing, using the distiller, putting a little bit of lemon water, using some Celtic salt, you can make a magnificent shift in your entire body just by making that one change.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agreed. People get so overwhelmed when it comes to making these changes. And I tell them, if you can do even like one thing a month, and starting with usually water and then air next, because those are the two things that are that we're mostly made of,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's amazing how much further we get along in life. Like I said, that's why I had my air filter and my water filter in my suitcases instead of clothes, because I just did not want to live, and even most people don't even realize, putting a shower head filter on, because, our skin being the largest organs, and they'll take all this time to filter out their water, but then they're bathing and showering in chlorine and fluoride and
I'm so glad you said that. So
all
there's
the
another.
antibiotics. And yeah.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. The second thing I was going to say is a shower head filter, and the brand that I love is called Jolie, Jolie. I'm not paid by them. I've just used them for years, and I've seen and I've tested, with my little thing, what actually comes out of it, and you can screw it on to just about any shower head. I know in the US it's $140 again, so it's still an investment, but I think for the biggest damn bang for your buck, as you said, with your body being the largest, your skin being the largest organ, if you could have a distiller and distill water so you're drinking it and you're fundamentally shifting it, you can just screw it on to most American, like you don't need a plumber or anything. You just buy it out of the box. It has a little filter in it. And I've tested the water many times myself, and it is fundamentally night and day from what tap water that comes out of that filter is. So with those two simple things, with an investment of $250, I think you can make a exponential shift in your overall health and wellness, your hair, your skin, your body, um, just by making those two water shifts. And yes, there's a million other things that can be done, sure. But at this point in my life, I'm looking for like the simplicity. Like, what are the biggest bang for the buck? It's more like about elimination for me now. Like all these different things that I've tried is like, what are the core things that I can do? Every single day that are going to make a big shift. And I think two of those for me have been really, really helpful.
Well, and I love that you brought up that biohacking, a lot of these tools can be a luxury. And I'm hoping that at some point in the near future that it's not so much of a luxury. Like I said, I'm working at a biomed spa right now and they've got all my favorite toys. And it's crazy how expensive it gets. I personally have gone bankrupt twice, getting my health back with Lyme disease and autoimmune diseases, mold. And I would do it again and again and again because right now I'm operating a level that I never thought I would operate at. And the fact that I can actually turn my focus from survival into regeneration and anti-aging, right? That is a luxury of being able to look at that and just feeling how blessed that I am that I've gotten through that one part and now I can focus on this other part. And it's so much fun.
Yeah, and I love the way you put it because I think so much of our lives are about the meaning that we give to things. So facts are things that happen to us, but we can change the meaning. And so many of the people, like at the Dr. Joe events that I saw, go on stage and talk about these were miraculous changes with cancer and all these incredible people that were paraplegics that are walking and things that are just so mind-boggling that you just have to sit there in awe of like the wonder of this body, this soul, this experience that we're having. But I think taking that point of saying that the problems are the gifts that we grow from, that these things, and I hear people on stage talking about cancer saying, thank God I had cancer because I never would have changed, and it was such a mind blowing thing for someone, to say those kinds of things. But I know in my own journey, I share um, your same belief that I would do it over and over again because I, thank God, feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And I guess on paper, I have 100 times more stress or worries or issues and staffing and stuff. But this experience of life with the right meaning and the right, I guess, coherence in those emotions can be a pretty beautiful thing.
Can I get an amen? I love it. Mic drop. What are some of your favorite like biohacking mental emotional tools?
So I think that for me, Tony Robbins does a priming exercise. And again, you can get it on YouTube for free. I love YouTube. I can listen to some of the smartest people in the world talk for effectively for free, which is pretty cool. But there's this thing that he's done for years. And there's one on there that I like in particular. There was at a live event with 10,000 people in the audience that he leads from stage. And basically, it's three parts. You do a breathing exercise, you put your hands over your head, you breathe out kind of vigorously for a few minutes. And then you do this kind of energetic thing where you just feel the space around you, not unlike kind of a Dr. Joe. You find three things that you're grateful for that you can genuinely feel. And then the last is three to thrive, where you think of three goals that you want to achieve. You feel them as done. And at the end, you jump up and celebrate like you just won the lottery. And it sounds super corny, but I do it every single day, and jumping up and down and screaming and doing whatever you get this thing where you prime your emotions, and then finding a meditation practice for 20 minutes to calm the nervous system, but then invigorate it with true full body experiences and it takes about 15 minutes to do the priming. And Dr. Joe's stuff can go for a long time, but there's ones that are about 20 minutes or so. So if you can give yourself the gift of 35 minutes at some point during your day, I think those dividends can be so exponential. So without going to spend 100 grand on some machine or all these different things, I think by focusing on those few core things that are effectively free for anybody that has the luxury of the internet or a smart device, which is also a luxury because 2 billion people on the earth don't have it. I think that if we do those consistently for weeks, not days, you'll reap benefits that I don't think anybody will regret.
Absolutely. Again, well put. So we're kind of getting to the end here. I would love for you to, it's the shameless plug time of the show, so how can people find out more about you? Because, you're not our typical guest on the show. You're not a practitioner. you're an investment person. And so kind of tie that together for me up in a nice bow, which I know you can, and, let people know how they can find you and learn more about you.
Oh, I appreciate that. So, I'm definitely a practitioner of life, of learning this experience. I'm sure I'll give a lot smarter people than me coming on here than give you better advice. But I wrote a book called The Gift of Failure. Okay. And the first line of the book is, I hope you fail. I hope you fail a lot.
Oh, I love it already.
And it's autobiographical that goes through some of the big business failures in my life, some of the health failures, some of the things that I've learned along the way. You can buy it on Amazon. I think it's $10, and it's not the great American novel. But I kind of joke that I think you'll get the $10 value out of the book. It's a Wall Street Journal bestseller. It's USA Today bestseller. And yeah, and I talk a lot about health and wellness and investing and business failures and big things I did that ice storms destroyed, and going up and down, and to get to this point where I've built a pretty big business and helped a lot of people from all over the world, which I'm still a little bit in awe of, quite frankly. But I think if you take some time to read the book, it's on Spotify, it's on Audible. I did the audio myself. And hope you get some value out of it. And if you don't, I listed a bunch of great books at the very end of it that if you read those, you'll for sure get value.
Oh, that's fantastic. I thank you so much. Because you were a little bit different guest than we typically have on here. And your people back and forth a little bit of like, I was trying to figure out the angle of how we can get you on. And you spoke so eloquently on putting these things, these functional things, these foundational things into practice, so beautifully, so eloquently, that it's perfect. And like I said, this type of work can only help out everybody in the world, so not one person cannot benefit from this, listening to this episode. And I'm super excited to read your book because I'm the queen of failure. And every single time it's a gift. And I talk about the gifts of Lyme disease on a regular basis. I share my experience with my, multiple multiple marriages, multiple bankruptcies, like, each single one. None of it's a failure. It's everything is a learning opportunity if you can look at it that way and stay out of victim and look at it as, okay, what did I learn from this? What were the gifts of this? So thank you so much for bringing that into our awareness today.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather.
Awesome. All right. When you go to the show notes, you'll find his information. Also, make sure to visit wearenikki.com /podcast and enter in BioBeats to get 10% off. And because we really love our customers, the way we show appreciation is we give away a Nikki device with a 1-year membership to the wellness store every month. So make sure to go to the show notes to enter. Good luck. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share because that's how we get this information out to the world. So not one person has to continue to suffer, needlessly. Thank you for joining us and have a healthy day.
What is the wellness store, you ask? Let me tell you. Imagine a single place where every Nikki wellness program, present and future, are ready whenever you are. The Nikki Wellness Store turns that vision into reality, offering a membership that keeps you connected to the most complete library of wellness support programs we've ever created. One membership, infinite access. With a Nikki Wellness Store membership, unlimited access to the full Nikki Wellness library, automatic updates as new programs are released, the freedom to create personalized daily playlists on the Nikki Connect app, and we continually design new programs. Your membership will grow with you at no additional cost. Because wellness technology never stops improving, and neither do you. It's more than a membership. Every wellness store membership begins with the purchase of their Nikki Wellness Technology, a wearable device that delivers wellness programs wherever life takes you. Your membership includes 1 full year of unlimited access to the complete wellness library and all future program releases. After the first year, your access continues with a simple annual renewal fee, so your library and collaborations with trusted global innovators keeps growing without interruption. This isn't just an upward, it's a movement toward a future where wellness technology never stops improving because neither do you. Join the movement. The Nikki Wellness Store isn't just a milestone, it's the future of wellness designed for freedom, value, and constant growth. New customers that join us will automatically get 1 year membership. to the Nikki Wellness Store. Current customers that have already owned a Nikki, you will be grandfathered in and given a 2-year membership. And that's a thank you for walking with us for all this time.
There's a new word for wellness, Nikki. Nikki is your personal wellness companion, a sleek, wearable device that lets you choose from a variety of programs to match your day. With a simple tap on the Nikki screen, you can explore wellness programs created for different moments and lifestyle. Need a lift? Select energy. Looking to unwind? Tap stress and anxiety. Want to feel more at ease? Choose pain. Heading out on a trip? Try travel to help you feel ready for new adventures. From busy mornings to quiet evenings, Nikki puts a variety of wellness experiences right at your fingertips and on your wrist. Life moves fast. Nikki moves with you. It's a portable way to bring wellness technology into your everyday routine, wherever life takes you. Your day, your choice, your wellness program. Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency-enhanced health. We are Nikki.com. The views, information, and opinions expressed in this content are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Freemedica. Freemedica Technologies, Inc. and its employees are not responsible, nor verifies accuracy any of the information contained in the following content. The primary purpose of this content is to educate and inform. This content does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.